I am your host, MISHUMA, SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace, 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 and welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast. This is the Cultural Variety Podcast Show, and I am your host, MISHUMA, SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast Show. How y'all doing today? No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Today is November 28th, 2022. And I would like to say to you, on a scale of 1 through 10, how do you feel today? Let us know. 1 being not feeling good, 10 feeling great. On a scale of 1 through 10, how you feel today? Also, I want to go ahead and say that I'm just happy to be here, man. And may you all have had a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. May you have had time to get goals accomplished. May you have had time to reflect on things that need to be done or just reflect on past times. But yes, welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast Show. All right, tonight we got a great show for you lined up. Tonight we're going to dive into our hip-hop artists and endorsements. That's right, we're going to just talk a little bit about hip-hop artists and endorsements. I love to hear your feedback as we get started in the show. Now, if this is your first time tuning into the show, Coffee Talk Podcast, this is a cultural variety podcast show. We appear 3 days a week. We have alternate weekends. So a Sunday, Monday is what we call Cultural Studies Night. What we do is we like to dive on in and talk about our culture. We like to go ahead and do paragraph readings. We like to go ahead and give big props to our doctors, our lawyers, our scholars, our scientists, our poets. That's what we do on Sunday, alternate Monday nights for Cultural Studies Night. And on Wednesdays is our sports edition, but we don't care about who won. We actually take a different viewpoint. We don't care about who won or lost a particular sporting event. But what we like to do is we like to give you the different intricacies that's going on behind the scenes in the world of sports. So that's on Wednesday nights. And then Friday, Saturday nights, that's what we like to call the grown folks social hour. And what we like to do on Friday, Saturday nights, we like to play games called 10 Question Q&A, where we like to have guests appear on the show. And we like to just give you love, laughter, comfort, and a good time. So that's what we do here at Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast Show. Now listen, if this is your first time tuning into the show, we never start the show without giving it its flavor. That's right. We got to give it its flavor. We got to put the cream in the coffee. You know how we do. We got to get it right. So we're going to give you your flavor as we always do. And we also want to give you a wise word from no other than any of our ancestors that happen to have the wise words for us today. So let's go ahead and dive right in, shall we? Today's flavor is a strawberry smoothie. Why a strawberry smoothie? Because here in the Twin Cities right now, it's a little chilly, but you want to be able to sip on something or drink something that has a nice chill to it, that is healthy, that is has its own natural sugars. You know what I'm saying? So tonight's flavor is a strawberry smoothie. Why? Because it lowers the risk of cardiovascular disease. Why? Because it aids skin care. Why? It also boosts brain function with rich iodine and vitamin C. Why? And it also boosts your immune system. So that's why today's flavor is strawberry smoothie. Also, tonight's wise words is given to us by a former outfielder of the New York Mets. This man is an ancestor, well-respected baseball player. And he played for the New York Mets back in 1976. But he had this quote that resonated with the whole nation. His name is Leon Brown. Leon Brown of the New York Mets, 1976. And Leon Brown stated, "A moment of anger can destroy a lifetime of work, whereas a moment of love can break barriers that took a lifetime to build." I'm going to say that again. Tonight's wise words is by Leon Brown. Leon Brown stated, "A moment of anger can destroy a lifetime of work, whereas a moment of love can break barriers that took a lifetime to build." So those are our wise words for tonight here at Coffee Talk Podcast. All right, so let's go ahead and dive on in. We want to talk about the prohibition era. And I'm sorry for stumbling over my words, but the prohibition era. It began in 1920 when the 18th Amendment banned the sale and manufacture and transportation of liquor. This was the Prohibition era in the 1920s. So the 18th Amendment made it illegal to sell liquor, to manufacture, create liquor, and even to transport liquor. Definitely, you couldn't do it across borders. You know, you would get a life sentence. And that's how the movie Life came about. That was part of how that movie came about with Eddie Murphy and I forgot the other brother's name right now. I'm just having a brain fart. Leave a comment if you know who the other character was that played Martin Lawrence. I apologize. Okay. However, it states here that, and this is from pubmed.gov, but they had an article that was titled "Health Risks and Inequitable Distribution of Liquor Stores in the African American Communities." The reason why I wanted to discuss this off the top is because I was wondering why are artists endorsing liquor? What we know is that there's a high percentage of liquor stores that are in the Black community. And in some areas, there's a liquor store on every other corner. So we asked tonight's topic, why does our hip hop artists endorse liquor? Now, I know this is a time where you now have weed that's being endorsed, marijuana that's being endorsed, and probably in the next year it'll be nationally. It'll be nationally where it's no longer prohibited to have marijuana. You know, one of the groups or one of the companies that started this liquor concept with the Black hip hop artists was Pabst Blue Ribbon. Now, this is no disrespect to Pabst, but here at Coffee Talk Podcast, as we give you the flavor, we like to also keep it real with you. But it's no disrespect to Pabst. In the early 80s and early 90s, Pabst Brewing Company created what was called St. Ides malt liquor. They collaborated with hip hop artists such as Tupac, the Notorious B.I.G., Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Wu-Tang, Method Man and Redman, And all of those artists proudly endorsed the St. Ides liquor back in the 80s and 90s. Today, you have such liquors as Douce, that is a black-owned liquor. And the face of Douce is Sean Diddy Combs. You also have Ace of Spades, which the face of Ace of Spades is Jay-Z. You also have liquors by Snoop Dogg and liquors from E40 Fonzarelli. These are all A-listers. These are all legendary hip-hop artists that carry big influence in the Black communities. When I thought about our story, I was thinking, is it their idea that, hey, along the way, I want to sell clothing and I want to sell liquor? Tonight's topic is not to hate any man's hustle, but I'm curious to know, as you earn your money and you change your livelihood, with what we know about liquor stores on every other corner in the Black community, I question why. Why do we want to affiliate ourselves with the destruction of endorsing a liquor? It says an analysis found that liquor stores are disproportionately located in predominantly Black neighborhoods. This was tracked by the Black Census Tracts. And it says that their findings indicate that liquor stores are more likely to be located in the predominantly African-American communities and are more socially desirable. More socially desirable. And it comes to my mind, it's like, okay, so these artists or these bosses or these creators of these such liquors that impact our community, how real is it? How real is it? It seems like there's only one owner in an NBA sports franchise that's Black. There's no Black owners in the NFL. There's no Black grocery stores at the magnitude that we can even be proud of. What I mean by that is 1 in every 20 to 25 people, there's no grocery store that none of them people are putting together. We don't own no shipyards. We don't own no hospitals. And yeah, we have a few celebrities that own schools, but not enough. Who gives us this idea that, hey, you can make money by selling your liquors in liquor stores that are in predominantly your own neighborhood? Now, a young rich man that may not be as conscious may think, yo, that's a lick. And in a business sense, you want to be able to get off your product wherever the bidding is, wherever the consumer matches that market. So I can see an unconscious brother thinking about only money and not thinking about the pain and the causes that take place in the Black community. They say that 43.5% of the Black community is binge drinking, is suffering from alcohol abuse. Statistically, they also say that men are 3 times more likely to die from the consequences of alcohol abuse. That every liquor store is placed in a low-income area. And these liquor stores are more per capita than any other communities. I want you to reach out and talk to me tonight, my Coffee Talk supporters. What is your thoughts on our artists endorsing liquor brands? What is your thoughts on the fact that 43.5% of our Black community suffers at the base of alcohol? I want you to go ahead and leave your thoughts, your comments. Tell me about some of the horror stories that you've experienced with alcohol, or anybody in your family that may have been caught up or addicted or can't give up alcohol. I want to know the stories. I want to know the positive stories. I want to know the not so positive stories. How did you quit? What is your thoughts on our artists, our hip hop artists, and the fact that they endorse liquor at a high magnitude? I mean, every commercial is them sponsoring liquor. Every now and then you start to see a breakthrough, as you do with Snoop Dogg and Master P, who I give much respect to and tilt my hat to tonight, because they have a cereal called Snoopy-O's or some shit like that. Excuse my French. But they have breakfast food. They have their own ramen noodles. So there are people that's trying to get into the food market, trying to buy grocery stores for our people. There are people that are trying to keep their farmland. Because as you know right now, Bill Gates is buying up a lot of farmland. If you don't know, definitely do your research and question why. Why is he in favor of genetic seeds? And why are they hauling all of the real seeds? I would like to hear from you all tonight. I would like to hear from you all tonight, Coffee Talk Podcast supporters. If you're wondering who that picture is up in the upper right corner, that is our Wise Words ancestor and spokesman of the Wise Words tonight, Les Brown. And if you're just tuning in, his wise words was, a moment of anger can destroy a lifetime of work, whereas a moment of love can break barriers that took a lifetime to build. So I just wanted you to take a look at Les Brown. Do you find it cool to sell liquors in liquor stores? I remember in the 90s, brothers that had the dope, some of them was respectable to the code. But then you had another half that would serve rocks, especially during the crack epidemic. They would serve rocks to their own family members. Part of the destruction, the systematic destruction of the Black families. Liquor has been the destruction of our people here, our native people here, our Aborigines all over the United States, North America and Central Americas. Liquor has been the destruction. Now, we all know who controls entertainment, music, fashion. And many of them are the bosses of our artists. Do our artists have the guts to come together and say, if we're going to sell liquor in the Black community, let's at least bring some type of balance? How do we do that? A type of balance by putting more trades, putting more culture, putting more financial knowledge and education into our urban schools to bring balance to the fact that you continue to bring liquor and liquor stores and churches into our community. I want to hear from you tonight. You can see the show live right now, or you see the show later on this week if you want to, at any time or any leisure, through YouTube and Facebook public page. You can always catch the show Coffee Talk Podcast. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you share, and also make sure that you subscribe here at Coffee Talk Podcast, the cultural variety podcast show. So I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments. Feel free to put them in the post or whatnot, and we all should be able to have great, healthy dialect about why our hip hop artists continue to endorse just liquor. Are they being told to do that? Are they being exploited? Do they have a choice? Let us know. But until then, I want to go ahead and hit y'all with the universal peace sign. I want you to go ahead and think about our topic tonight. What's your thoughts on it? How does it make you feel? What are solutions? What are the truths? Go ahead and leave a comment. Hit the share button. Subscribe to the video. Let's hear what you got to say about our hip hop artists and how they are continually endorsing liquor in our communities. Until then, I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast show. And until next time, we'll see y'all this Wednesday. That's right. This Wednesday is our sports edition. Come back, check us out, and check it. When you come back and you come into our humble home, make sure you pour yourself some water, some wine, a cappuccino, some coffee, a smoothie, a beer. But come on in, kick your feet up, and enjoy yourself here at Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast. So until Wednesday, I'll see y'all soon. Peace and love. We out of here.